So yeah, I'm not sure how this is gonna go. And I still haven't hit a point where I'm like, I get it now. So, maybe it happens here. It's not an invitation to tell me if it's going to or not, to be clear. Okay. Footage for Xenoblade. I failed my own schedule with it, so I'm trying to speedrun to a point in the story and catch up, which prevented me from dropping by. Okay, first off, feels. Not meeting up to schedule for, like, video game stuff. I mean, you've watched me stream. My schedule is all over the place, which I also had to change recently, so, I should also... Whoa. I didn't realize hitting the scroll wheel like that would actually make that do a thing. But yeah, you don't have to like, again, you don't have to apologize, but that's good to hear. I hope things are going well. Or better. Okay. What are we in store for? Good morning, Max. Max? Milk. What? If I don't have a glass of milk before I go on stage, I just can't function, sweetie. Stage? Don't worry, there won't be a stage. All you have to do is sit down. I guess. Nick? Max is really nervous. That's understandable. Hey, my sweeties. What? Why are you throwing... It was like, I didn't mention this last session, but it's really weird that he's just like throwing his hands out and throwing cards at the visitor wall. I don't know if it's more silly that he did that in the visitor's room, or if he's doing that out in the courtroom where he could actually hit me with a card. You don't think I should fly, do you? Huh? You know, you've got to make a good first impression. When I enter the room, maybe I should fly in and warm up the crowd a little. Actually, that would be, like, largely incriminating, considering the evidence. Like, if you just flew in, like, you're already known for it, but this would be damning. It's like, oh, look, he can get to somewhere in the room without stepping on the floor. What is your impression of this case so far? I mean, so, I guess I can go over this a little bit. I feel like I don't know a lot about the actual incident, right? A lot of the stuff we've explored so far has been largely about the things surrounding the case. So, like, the dynamic between all the performers, some of the, goings-on between there, some of the tensions between people, obviously some explicit interactions with the ringleader. But in terms of the actual incident, we don't know a lot. Oh, no, actually, hang on. I feel like Mo... Oh, I can't remember whether he actually told us. Maybe I'm just not remembering so much. Regardless, it feels like I don't have that much of a grasp on how this even occurred. But so far, it's fine. If you go back and watch yesterday's stream, I was very confused at the very beginning, because I didn't end up, I think, showing something to Max that would prompt me to go to the circus. So, like, I sat there for a few minutes going, like, what am I supposed to do? I can't unlock the locks. Two things without spoiling that I thought of the other day. Don't. If it's about stuff that's happened and it doesn't relate to what's going to happen, that's fine. But if it's going to press up against that, I'd rather not. But my general impression so far is it's fine. Really, like, my big impressions come once things start to come together, more or less. Okay, just one thing? Okay. Let's hear it then. There is a highly offensive character in Game 3. What's that got to do with this? Or is that just random tidbit you thought? Oh, yeah, okay. Alright, sorry. I just contextualized all of that. Okay. I mean... Look, we've already had 2 games in which, very underage characters have either had their, their chests out, pretty much, and characters that are explicitly going after or trying to marry them. So, like, I could imagine maybe racist stereotype. I don't know. Like, maybe that's... But, like... What? Okay, hang on. Sorry. What am I trying to say? That's fine. In terms of, okay, I expect it, but, like, I'm gonna kind of expect it. The game's already had some weird things where I'm like, there's gonna be some shit here. But, yeah. Can't go into detail because you're supposed to be surprised by the character, but it's pretty offensive stereotype, although you have to remember it's... Well, I mean, yeah, and that's... Yeah, no, I completely understand that. That doesn't make it any better, and I think it's still worth pointing out that, you know, that stuff is offensive by today's standards, but, yeah, fair enough. I guess I will keep my eye out then, because that may be something to comment on. No. We can't be having you flying around the courtroom. It just wouldn't be right. Imagine if you hit someone. Don't worry, Max. Just do what Nick says and everything will be okay. Oh, sweetie. What is it this time, Max? Why don't you try flying into the courtroom? I can see it now. The dashing young lawyer flying fabulously in from above. One glimpse of that, and everyone in the courtroom would be on your side. Max, really, no one needs to fly today. Nick? What's with that look in your eyes? I like the sound of that. Dashing young lawyer flying fabulously. Sorry, I felt like I had to give that a serene... I'm sorry, what were we talking about? There's Francisco. And now the case of one... What? Your Honor, get on with it. Oh, sorry, I just realized that the defendant's name is Billy Bob Johns? So, well, isn't the defendant also known as Maximilian Galactica? Yes, Your Honor, he does often go by that name. You know, my grandchild is a huge fan of his. I think everyone here wouldn't mind if we called the defendant Maximilian Galactica. It sounds more... friendly. Okay, so, game over. I don't know if you actually watched the stream yesterday, but this game really has a low opinion of, like, what they end up translating to country people, and it's really weird. Like, Maya explicitly, is, like, fascinated by Max, and then it's revealed that, like, oh, his outer personality is completely different from his actual person, from who he is. And, like, he's actually from the country, he was a poor kid, and he made himself through this. But, like, Maya, like, is super judgmental about that. And not in a way that's like, oh, wow, what a faker, or something like that. It's like, wow, he's actually one of those people. And I'm like, what the fuck? There's this, like, really weird, and there's this really weird undertone to it that's like, he's a poor person? And that's not cool, and that's like, it's, Like, you want to talk about, oh, this is 2004. This is super fucking weird that this just, like... I don't know. It's just really distracting. Like, you could have just had Maya be disappointed, like, oh, he's not really like that, you know, and that would be perfectly valid. It's like, oh, he doesn't act the way he doesn't truly act the way he presents in public, and that's kind of like, okay, that's perfectly understandable. But when you like angle it in terms of like he's a country bumpkin, he doesn't act like this posh dude, it's like, that's... I thought they wanted to do that thing in RL. People go, oh no, this celebrity is just a common Joe. I get that, but the way they have specifically framed it gives it a bit more of a very condescending, like, almost classist thing to it. And that could very well just be translation. Like, I'm not sitting here saying, like, oh, the game entirely is just awful to these people, but, like, no, it's just, like, it could be a translation thing, but that's how it ends up coming off. I have to check again in the script. I mean, it's not a big deal, but, like, that's just how the English version comes off. And the idea that Maximilian Galactica is more friendly than Billy... I completely forgot his name already. Is, like, leaning into that a bit as well. Like, this by itself wouldn't be a thing, but if Maya hadn't sat there and be like, wow, what a country bumpkin, I wouldn't be like, every time we're just gonna point this out? Like, ugh. I wonder if that is... I wonder if that is to our advantage.
Miss Von Karma, your opening statement, if you please.
I hope you didn't bother thinking you'd win this one, Mr. Phoenix, right? Eh? That spirit channeling trial was a sham. I refuse to acknowledge its legitimacy. Okay. It did not count. Do you hear me? She must still be upset about what happened last time. You have no chance. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I'm not losing this case. Why, you ask? Because it is not in the nature of a Von Karma to lose at anything. I guess being born with the name Von Karma is a free pass to be arrogant and annoying. Watch and learn, Mr. Phoenix, right? I'll show you the textbook procedure for proving how absolutely guilty you are. Yeah, me? Guilty? What are you talking about? It will be my ultimate revenge. It's not like it'll bring back her dad. Or bring her dad back. There, opening statement complete. Now let's hurry and wrap up this waste of time.
Very well. You may call your first witness, Miss Von Karma.
Detective Dick I just combined the judge and Francisca. That was weird. Detective Dick Gumshoe, get up there. Now. Sorry to keep you from your work, but as I'm sure you needed every penny you can earn, Detective.
I don't mention it. It's no trouble at all. I've been looking forward to this.
Very well. I would like to begin by shedding light on the events in question.
At your service, sir. All right, Detective. You may proceed with your testimony.
Details of the events. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 PM, making it extremely cold out. All of the circus performers were gathered in the big top to practice their routines. The practice session broke up around 10 PM. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 PM. The victim was found bent over a wooden box dead as a doornail. The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. Ooh. Ouch.
I see. He was he was beaten to death.
Oh my god.
I see. He was beaten to death.
Here's the autopsy report for the victim.
The court accepts
The court accept this into evidence.
The court... the court accepts this into evidence.
Time of death, 10:15 p.m. Cause, blunt force trauma to the back of the head. Wow. Blunt force trauma to the back of the head that broke something in his neck. That is a vicious fucking blow.
A blunt object. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so... let's go over this one more time. Night of the crime, snow fell until 9:40, extremely cold out. All the circus performers were gathered in the big top to practice their routines. The practice session broke up around 10. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15. The victim was found bent over a wooden box head as a doornail. The cause of death was a blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. Okay. Do I have a map of... I did have a map somewhere, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, so this is something I didn't actually think about before. So the ringmaster's room is here. Oh, hold on. So the ringmaster's room was here, and this is where Max was, because he was called into there after the incident in the cafeteria. Around that time, the ringmaster leaves, and Max is still in the room. He's in there with his cape and hat as well. And at some point, the ringmaster's murdered here. Now, I'm pretty sure the room we were in had no windows here. So, and if everyone was in the circus, I would think that someone would have seen Max, like, leaving. Which is maybe where Mo's testimony is going to come in. I don't quite know that. I don't quite know what this is gonna... what he's gonna say yet, so... at least I can't remember. Let me ask you about the snow. It was nearly a blizzard up until the time of the crime. Did it pile up? Yeah, it wasn't such a big deal. Maybe about 1.5 inches was on the ground. The snow froze in place and stayed on the ground until the next day. Snow. Let me see. There's gotta be more to this. Eh? What's the matter, Nick? I need to take a look at the court record.
Mr. Gumshoe, what were the members of the circus doing on the night of the crime?
What was Phoenix implying there? So by this point, the snow had stopped falling. So the idea that it would cover up prints is probably incorrect. At least gathering from the footprints that exist there. Why did he want to look at the court record, though? That's the bit I'm not... When you say all of the circus performers, who do you mean? Everyone but the dancers and staff were there. Regina the animal tamer, Mo the clown, Ben the ventriloquist, and of course the defendant, Maximilian Galactica, and his victim, the ringmaster. Oh, I almost forgot. Regent the tiger was there as well. Out of curiosity, what about the circus monkey? When I was investigating yesterday, he happened to snatch my wristwatch.
Detective! Detective, you're welcome to file a police report after these proceedings.
The practice session broke up around 10. After the practice was over, where did everyone head off to? Regina was playing with Regent, while Mo went back to his room, tired from work. Ben the ventriloquist went to the front gate, absorbed in his own world. The ringmaster and Max went off to the ringmaster's room to talk privately. Jesus.
Talk privately? Huh? Oh, that's awfully suspicious. You wouldn't happen to know what they were talking about, would you?
It seems they were negotiating Max's salary. We don't actually... It's actually not true. Actually, Max was asking for Regina's hand in marriage. I don't know if that's something I can contradict, though. Well, yeah, he's not... That's not part of his testimony at the moment, so I guess I can't contradict that. Murder itself took place at the thing, yep. I'd like you to be a bit more specific about the events at 10:15 p.m. Okay. Not a problem, pal. We've got a witness that told us how the whole thing went down. Ow! This is totally meaningless. Time to move on.
Alright, we'll just have to revisit that testimony later. Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling us how the victim met his end?
You know what? That is fair enough. It's like, look, oh hey, the whip chick is still here. I mean, yeah, clearly Francisca's going to be the Edgeworth of this game, so that makes sense. Also, hi, Wiley. Also, I didn't realize that was you, Wiley, and not Game Over because of the deep blue on the stream. The names, I kind of can't read that. At the size my Streamlabs is kind of there, but how you going, man? The victim was found bent over a wood box dead as a doornail. A wooden box? That's right. The victim must have been carrying the wooden box when he was killed.
Carrying the box, huh?
It was a rather strange wooden box, Your Honor.
What do you mean?
Well, it was much heavier than it looked. Not to mention it was locked. Is that right?
Locked, did you say?
Wow, really? I'm getting this evidence now? The victim was hunched over this 20-pound box. It boasts a small but strong lock. 20 pounds. How heavy is that? 20 pounds in kilograms. That's 9 kilos. Oh, okay. That's not insignificant, but damn prosecution monopolizing evidence. Yeah, right. Like, I do like the concept of being presented with evidence in the middle of like a trial like this, where you have to kind of like rethink how you think about things as things are presented like that. And some of it is obviously just procedure. Like, the fact that I didn't have this to begin with isn't a huge deal because I don't have enough pieces around that for that to matter. But there obviously is the points where the game is just like, here's this last bit of evidence that actually points to everything, which is kind of lame. But, yeah. Anyway, this may be our only chance, so I might as well ask some questions about the contents. Do you mind telling us what was inside that box?
Well, when we found the box, it was locked tighter than Fort Knox, so we took it back to the station and cracked it open. All that was inside was this, a little bottle.
Oh, all that was inside was this little bottle.
A bottle? What is that, Detective?
Exactly what it looks like, Your Honor. It's a condiment bottle. What's inside the bottle?
It's filled with, pepper. Pepper? Why in the world was it locked in that big box?
There's only one little bottle in that huge box. I wonder if that has some sort of special meaning. Found inside the wooden box, the victim was hunched over. It contains pepper. Huh. That's fucking weird. According to the autopsy report, the murder weapon was a blunt object, correct? You've done your homework, pal. And you haven't found this murder weapon, have you? The police are searching for it as we speak. My theory is that it is something the perpetrator ran off with.
You would think so, especially since you didn't find it on the scene.
No. I bet he made it disappear with magic.
Well, I think we have a good feel for the details of the event now.
I guess that's what we're going to get out of Gumshoe in this case. You mean all we're going to get out of him is that little bottle of pepper? Now that we have wrapped up with the detective, I'd like to call my next witness. Hey, I'm not even off the stand yet. Obviously, but that's due to you being slow and unable to take a hint. I don't know, but wrapped up has such a mean sound to it. I'm a sensitive guy.
Thank you very much, Detective Gumshoe. You may step down.
Fucking poor Gumshoe. Like, listen, he's a little dense, but goddamn, he gets like, he just gets treated like shit by fucking everyone.
Miss Von Karma, call your next witness.
I would like to call Benjamin Woodman to the stand. She must be talking about Ben the ventriloquist. I wonder if Trillo will show up to the stand as well. Oh yeah, Wiley. Ben Trillo Quist. Ben Trillo Quist. Oh boy. Please state your name and occupation for the record. My full name is Trilloquist. I am employed as an operatic tenor.
Excuse me? The witness called to the stand was one Mr. Benjamin Woodman, ventriloquist.
Oh, that road must be cutting your circulation. I said that I was a singer. Maybe you don't believe me. Fine, I'll grace you with a song. Me. The world of the law, exciting and daring, guilt or innocent. That doesn't even decided by a judge dressed up like a woman. Well, what do you think? It had a good rhythm that you couldn't tell from the words at all. It's just the lyrics. They leave something to be desired, so to speak. Trillo, you know better than to insult a judge. Shut up! Just look at your nose. You would think you'd have the sense to fix it. It's so ugly I want to punch it. I want to punch you in the face on the off chance swelling would help. You know what, your nose is the reason you'll never be an A-list star. Celebrities must really enjoy saying everything that flashes into their minds.
What's going on here? Order! I demand to know who the witness is.
Don't worry about me, sir. I'll let Trillo handle this.
I'm not worried about you one bit. I'm worried about... Ow!
You won't get anywhere trying to figure out this witness. Let's just proceed. Now, let's proceed. Once practice was over, I left the tent with the stooge. I mean, clown. Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. Okay, hang on. Oh no, yeah, he does, yeah. It is that dark compared to his face. For some reason I was thinking it was a bit lighter than what this is implying, but no, I guess that, yeah. That's when I saw Max heading toward the scene of the crime. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? And the police showed up and took Magic Boy away. You saw Maximilian Galactica heading towards the scene. You're sure of that? Without a doubt. He had on his silk hat, cloak, and the dumb white roses on his chest. How can you mistake someone with that crazy get-up and his nose stuck up so high?
That's enough. I think we all get the picture. Just one thing. You said you ditched the clown?
That's right, dress boy.
Well, since you weren't with him, couldn't that mean the clown committed the crime?
He's got a point. Oh, what a shame. It was a nice theory, but the clown can't be the culprit.
Why is that?
He is absolute proof.
Silk hat?
This was found at the scene of the crime. It belongs to the defendant. Ah. Without question, he was wearing this signature hat during practice. If the clown was the murderer, there would be no reason for this hat to be at the scene.
Well done, Miss Von Karma. Your prosecutorial skills are unrivaled. Well done.
Thank you for stating the obvious. Mr. Phoenix Wright, what do you have to say? She's so fucking cute, god damn it. Okay. I guess she's the boss again today. Okay. Once practice was over, I left the tent with the stooge, clown. The clown. You're talking about Mo? Of course I'm talking about the old fart. He's so pathetic. I can't stand him. Just a little bit of exercise and his makeup is running all over the place. Once practice was over, he was 9/10 of the way to keeling over for good. Poor guy. We didn't have any choice, so Ben took him back to his room. When it comes to being first place a loser, that guy's ahead of the pack. No, not that. The other one. So Ben and Trillo, walked with Mo back to his room? That would place them near the scene of the crime after 10 p.m. And I guess, like, yeah, so they get him back to his room, move back forward, and they claim to see Max walking up towards the thing. Yeah, okay.
Then what happened?
Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. Why the plaza's entrance? To do some thinking, of course. It was awfully cold out that night, especially with all the snow around. Wouldn't thinking in your nice, warm lodging house have been a bit better idea? Mr. Phoenix, right. I think you should leave the sinking to the witness. But I'm a good thunker. At least my teachers always said I was. Thunker. Yep. You and I are right next to each other. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. Are you sure it was really Max Galactica? Of course I'm sure. How could you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece getup? Snobby three-piece getup? Get the wax out of your ears. Lawyers nowadays, you're like talking to a brick wall. Max's three-piece getup. Jeez, could you be any more dense? All together now. Silk hat, cloak, white roses. Thank you. Nick, I think you should put a little bit more effort into preparing your questions. That's not my fault! Like, fuck. He's the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? You saw Max and only Max, right, Trillo? That's right, and that makes him the killer. There was only one person headed that way that night.
That makes quite a bit of sense and makes Max one suspicious character.
There's more to this story than meets the eye. Is there something amiss in this? Oh. That's a bit strange, don't you think? What's strange? That you only saw Max. Doesn't it seem like you should have seen someone else as well?
What? Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Who else do you suppose this witness could have seen?
Why, the victim, of course.
That's the victim?
That's correct. If Trillo was at the entrance to the plaza, he should have seen the ringmaster as well. Ah! Obviously, as the ringmaster arrived at the scene of the witness, as the scene of the crime before the witness could have seen him. Anyone with sense could have figured that one out. What are you talking about? The ringmaster and Max went together to the ringmaster's room. Is that according to the defendant? A likely story. If Maximilian Galactica was supposed to be in the ringmaster's room, why was he, just as the witness stated, at the scene of the crime?
Ah. I see. Seems at this stage I have no reason to doubt this witness's testimony. And there are clearly no conclusive contradictions.
What? Hold on. What? Okay. So, my claim was that Ben and Trillo should have seen the Ringmaster. Francisca says no. They could have walked out after the witness got there. And to prove that, or no, and then Phoenix counters with, well, oh, sorry. Wait, does that actually make sense? Like, I guess he may not have, like, literally seen him. But what has bringing up Max got to do with that? Like, we proved that, hey, Max and the Ringmaster were in the room together. Trillo wouldn't happen to have an ulterior motive for incriminating Max, would he? Well, Max is part of that bitter love triangle with Regina, which is probably why Max cogged him over the head. Nick, wasn't Ben the one who got knocked over the head? Yeah, I think so. I don't know anymore. Okay, once practice was over, I left the tent with the stooge. Okay, hold on, so was that it? Around what time did the police arrive at the scene? I suppose that would have been around... Hey, what time was it? I think it was around, I'd say a bit after 10:30 p.m., I think. Practice ended at 10 p.m., so you hung around the lodging house the entire time? I guess that sounds about right. Wasn't it awfully cold? I can't believe you just stand outside in that weather. Well, the truth is... Will you shut up, you big-nosed dope? Why are you telling him anything extra? Why can't you believe that we just stand outside in that weather? Well, maybe you were waiting for someone. What? Who said we were waiting for someone? Mr. Phoenix Wright, we can all do without your offhanded series. But, this witness, he's cracking under the pressure already. I'm onto something.
Mr. Wright, who do you suppose the witness was waiting for out in the cold that night?
That's a very good question. I mean, let's go down the list. Obviously, it wasn't himself. Max? Well... like, my gut reaction is Regina. Mo is already, Mo was already in the lodging house, so he was, like, there. He's not really waiting for anyone, I would think. Could have been waiting for the police? I'm actually really not sure here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that, I think. Well, if he was waiting outside in the cold, it was for one person. Oh, I was right. And one person only. He was waiting for the animal tamer, Regina. That's pretty good. You were waiting outside for Regina to come back to the lodging house. Am I mistaken?
Is this true?
Well, don't really ask me that question. Who cares who I was waiting for that night? What's important is what I saw. Don't you forget it.
Well. The puppet may be a bit stiff, but he's right.
Eh? Alright. There is obviously a reason why this witness was there that night. He spent all that time waiting for Regina to arrive. Moreover, even if someone else would have walked right in front of him, I doubt he would have paid them a second thought. That's a bit of a leap.
Does that make sense?
What did you just say? The witness saw the defendant at the scene of the crime. However, he did not see the victim on the way to his eventual demise. This was part of the point I brought up before that was just dismissed. Like, if... I don't know why we go... Okay, yeah, this is a weird thing. Well, okay. You know what? Let's let it go. I want to see if we actually address this now. However, we did not see him on the eventual demise. If you accept that, then you must accept that there is a high likelihood that he could have missed someone else other than Max heading to... Ow! There is absolutely no proof that the witness was waiting for the animal tamer. I guess you got me. Alright, I'll spill the beans for real this time. It's true. I was waiting for Regina. Pain. Someone's volunteer sings.
Mr. Quist, tell us the truth this time, and I mean the whole truth. Were you or were you not waiting for Regina at the entrance to the lodging house?
I was. I was waiting to propose to her.
You were what? Waiting to propose?
What's the matter? You think that humans have a monopoly on marriage?
The matter of puppet marriage is not under review in this case.
You're the judge. I mean, look at your horrible outfit. More pain. Thanks to your bumbling, my perfect plan is not perfect anymore. Now we have to waste time getting to the bottom of some silly proposal by a puppet. We sure do. About the proposal. Don't be so surprised that I was going to propose to Regina. I even had something to give her. I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. You absolutely do not. I have that in my possession.
You're going to propose? A puppet?
Don't be so obtuse. Just because I'm a puppet doesn't mean I can't love.
I guess you're right. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I couldn't propose to her, too.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Exactly. His honor is looking a little less than honorable right now. I'll fucking say.
Okay, Mr. Wright, please continue with your cross-examination.
What was with that sigh at the end? Hey, look at these creeps creeping on people who are clearly uncomfortable by it. Ah, well, gonna propose to a 16-year-old now. Oh, sorry, multiple people. Several times our age, just... Fucking Christ. Don't be so surprised that I was going to surprise to Regina. By proposal, you mean proposing marriage, correct? To Regina. Of course that's what I meant. What kind of stupid question is that? I wasn't going to propose that we become some sort of outlaw biker gang together. Right, Ben?
Yeah.
Got it. That's the truth. I even had something to give her. Well, what was it exactly that you planned on giving her? You know exactly what I was going to give her, numbskull. The only thing I could find that could match Regina's beauty. Answer his question. What was it? You're gonna die when you hear this. It's an engagement ring.
Engagement ring?
Wow, those two nearly fell out of their chairs. Mr. Phoenix Wright's joke has gone too far. Time for this to end right here. Francisca's whip looks like it's about to lash out at almost anything. One hit from that thing will probably shut someone up for a long time. Pain equals bad. How old's Regina? 16. The judge has got to be pushing, like, 60. Fucking Ben is already, like... What was he? Like, 30-something? 31? 21? Push on anyway. Work through the pain. Maybe something of a joke, but this is a historic moment. The first time that a puppet has ever proposed to a human... Ow! I advise you to cut this argument short.
I'm going to have to agree with the defense here. Will the witness please revise their testimony? Specifically about the engagement ring, I'd like to stick to the facts, not sociology.
I think in Japan, 16 is currently the age of consent for girls. It is. That doesn't make, like, people double their age or more any creepier. Especially when in the first game, we made a point of showing that that was creepy. Like, that's... The age of consent is irrelevant. That's not my argument there. Sure to enjoy sweating the details, especially for a man in a black bathrobe. Planned on giving an engagement ring to Regina. An engagement ring. Uh-huh. It's actually a diamond-shaped stone cut from glass. Even more brilliant than the real thing. I think Regina is going to love it. It's just a ring. And you just outed it as cubic zirconia, so like... Wait, oh, sorry. I think cubic zirconia is a different thing, but it's a fake diamond. What's the matter, Nick? Well, there's got to be something I can catch him on. Kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Whose pocket was the ring in? Mine, of course. What a stupid question. You gotta be kidding me. You think Ben could pull that off? I'm sorry. Really? You don't have to apologize for that. He's the one who should be apologizing. Really? Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. So you went to the lodging house to give it to her. That's right. Tried to give it to her during practice so many times that I lost count, but that uppity snob kept getting in the way. Uppity snob? He couldn't possibly be talking about me, Maximilian Galactica. When I get a hold of him, I'm gonna saw his wood block in half. Not with magic. Well, they always say that love creates rivalries.
So what about this present?
In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. That's bullshit. So you were still thinking of trying to give it to Regina? Of course I am. Spent 3 months' salary on this thing. I'm not going to give up that easily. Wonder how much he receives for appearing in the circus. Probably way more than he deserves. How about it, Nick? I think it's about time to unwrap this toy's testimony. That's the spirit, Nick. Give him heck. The judge has that dazed and confused look again. Maybe he should get out more. Okay, that's not fair. Puppets proposing marriage to people is fair fucking game to be dazed and confused. Like, yeah, so that's not true. It's right here. Trillo, do you mind if I show you something? What is it? What are you talking about? Uh-oh. Looks like they're going to double team me now. Do you recognize this ring? Ah, that's mine! Give it back! Thief! Thief! Didn't you just testify about this very object? I believe you said, in the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. Why then do I have it right here? He reconstitutes really quickly.
What is going on here?
That's... Ben, say something!
Eh? Don't put me on the spot like that, Trillo.
I found this in Money's room.
Money's room? You mean a room they put money? Like a bank vault?
Ha! That filthy monkey is gonna get what's coming to him.
Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you avoided slandering innocent fiats in my court.
Well, Your Honor, Money really is a monkey, in every sense of the word.
Ah, I see. Well then.
Money likes to go after the shiniest things that he can find and gather them up.
Shiny things?
Trillo, when was this ring stolen from you?
Well, I suppose it was that time, you know, that night. The night of the crime.
What did you just say? Details. I need more details.
Well, it was stolen right after Max showed up in the plaza.
Right about when you saw the defendant walk past, correct?
Well, I guess you might, be able to say that. The ring might have, well, it could have been taken around that time.
I don't get it. Was that happening in the court right now, or... Ben, what's with you? Oh, whatever. It has nothing to do with anything, especially not who committed the murder. It's not for you to decide what has to do with what. Now, Trillo, back to the topic at hand. I haven't admitted a thing. Not I, Mr. Trillo Quist. What did you do when the ring was taken, Trillo? You know exactly what I did. I chased after that ring-snatching monkey. Oh, Monkey Money. But you weren't able to catch up with him, were you? It's all this slow-oafy fool called Ben's fault. While he was fumbling his way through the snow, that dumb monkey was able to get away.
That is indeed an incredible shame.
Well, this does indeed prove one very important point. Prove an important point? What point could that possibly be? Ben's testimony has a flaw. There is a huge contradiction in this witness's testimony. Contradiction? The witness just testified the following effect. Up until the police arrived, he didn't move from the entrance to the plaza. However, the witness just stated that he chased after Money the monkey. When the witness was off chasing Money, there was no one watching the plaza. What is the meaning of all this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Where are you going with this little theory of yours? I'm saying that there is no possible way that this witness saw the plaza the entire time. That's where I'm going with this little theory, which leads me to my next point. It is entirely possible that someone other than the defendant was at the scene.
Interesting.
Well then, tell me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Do you have any proof that something slipped past the vigilant ventriloquist? Well, he obviously didn't see the victim, the ringmaster, arrive on the scene. However, that doesn't change the fact that he saw the defendant arrive. The witness is lying. He is blinded by his rivalry with Max.
Well, the defense's argument does hold water. This witness does have a history of animosity towards the defendant.
What? How dare you? I wouldn't lie just to get that dog face in trouble. He's not even worth it. I saw him, no doubt about it. I saw that worthless liar.
Well, just for clarity's sake, let's flesh out exactly who you saw on that night.
Ha! I've told you so many times, you'd think you'd know my story's not changing. You've already changed your story, stick boy, and I'm sure it'll change some more. Where there is one lie, there are usually many more behind it. Exactly, Maya. That's why I have to keep after him. Yeah. Witnessing Max. I'll give you that I was waiting for that night for Regina, but that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. He showed up after I had been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactica at the scene. There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols. Yeah, but you're focusing on the symbols. Now, granted, those 3, or 2 things really, because the white roses are a part of the cape, so it's the cape and the hat. But those 2 things were in the ringmaster's office, right? So one of the things that does actually tie him to the scene is that we know those were in the office, like in a sort of meta way, when the ringmaster left to go to the plaza. We also know that, and presumably, if Max is actually innocent, he was sitting in that office the whole time. But the, so the question is, how did the hat and cape leave the room? And it's very easy to just suggest that, well, he left there. This is what I'm going to have to try and untangle, because I'm not actually sure where we're going to go with this. So that means that that money didn't show up until after you saw Max. That's right, money ran up less than a minute after I saw Max. Then money snatched the ring, and you went chasing after him.
How long was it until you came back to where you were waiting?
Let's see, I'd say about, I suppose, 5 minutes, I think. So the victim could have arrived on the scene in that 5-minute stretch.
Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
That doesn't corroborate with Max's story, but we don't have any way of proving it, unfortunately. Or I can't think of a way of proving it at the moment. So you were only concerned with waiting for Regina that night. That means you probably wouldn't have noticed if someone else showed up. Are we really doing this again? You should think about how many eyes I actually have. I've got 4, you know. 4. F-O-U-R. Counting Ben, of course. With that many eyes, do you really think something would have slipped by me?
4 eyes is an awful lot of attention directed at one area, I suppose.
Yikes. Judge is even more dangerous to our case than Trillo. That doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. So you saw Max coming out of the big top that night? Of course, that's where I saw him coming from. I was staring at the entrance to the tent the entire time. I guess that makes sense, especially since he was waiting for Regina. He showed up after I had been waiting there for about 5 minutes. About what time would you say these events took place? You're one of the dumbest people on the planet if you can't figure it out yourself. You already know that practice finished promptly at 10 PM, and you already know that I went to the lodging house right after practice. You don't need a brain surgeon to know around what time it was when I saw him. Just add 10 more minutes. I'm sure you can do that. Now, what time was it?
Indeed. What time was it?
What time was it? Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, nougat. It was 10:10 PM.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right, because that's the time that I saw Max on the scene. Say good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. So you testified that you said good evening to Max that night. You must enjoy asking incredibly obvious questions. You say good morning in the morning and good afternoon during the day, right? And it's obvious that I'd say good night to someone at night. What, Ben? You got something to add? Let me guess.
That's not it, Trillo. You say good evening at night.
Oh, sorry, Trillo.
Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you kept your ventriloquist act outside of the courtroom.
Impossible. A performer lives and breathes his performances. You should know better. There's got to be something wrong with this bit of testimony. Ben, it's half of the comedy act. Jesus, that's rough. Trillo's evening greeting. Isn't that a bit strange to you? What do you mean? Well, If you hate Max so much, why would you bother being nice to him? It strikes me as somewhat strange. Why would it strike you as strange? Exactly. How is it strange to be cordial to one of your co-workers? Well, if it was simply just being cordial to a co-worker, I would understand. Ow, that hurt! Maybe you should think of having some proof before you start flapping your lips start flapping next time. Proof is everything in this world. You should have learned that back in grade school. There's no reason that Trillo would ever say something nice to Max. But how do I go about proving that with the evidence? Bluffing is everything in this world, but I'm sure you already learned that one. I guess I can give it a shot.
The witness will resume his testimony.
Well, there is a very good reason I think he wouldn't have done that, and that's because, A, love triangle, B, fucking Max hit Ben over the head with a fucking bottle. Like, are you serious? You are 100% absolutely sure of what you just said. I told you already. Jeez, I am 100% absolutely sure. There's no way he could be any more confident than that, right? There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those three ridiculous symbols. Those three ridiculous symbols, huh? Out of curiosity, exactly how many times have you asked that question by now? He didn't ask what they were, he just said, oh, those things again. You're gonna ask again, I'll answer with a chorus. Everyone together now. Silk hat, cloak, white roses. Why did Maya join in on that? Like, Phoenix is standing there like, oh god, the three things again. And then this happens, he sees Maya doing it, and she's like, silk hat, cloak, white roses. What? Everyone else was doing it. Thank you very much. Maya, you didn't have to join in, did you? I will admit, I really like the way that mid-courtroom comedy happens in this game. Like, there's been a fair few times throughout the game where it's done something really clever with the way that, like, either a case unfolds or, yeah, something like this. Goddamn. Ugh. But it's fun chatting out with everyone else. There has to be a hole in his testimony somewhere. I agree, but do we have the proof of something to stick? All we can do is try, right, Nick? We've got to have something that will prove useful. Alright, time to go to work. Yeah, I think the thing I'm going to do here is try and use the bottle to contradict this. Like, no. There we go. Trillo, is it not true that you had a fight with Max on the day of the murder? A fight? A fight over Regina, to be exact. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was just an argument. Disagreement, at most. A disagreement that usually doesn't end with someone getting clonked over the head. There you go. That morning, Ben got clobbered over the head by Max, didn't he? What? I just realized this bottle is actually far more detailed than I thought. Like, it's been retextured to be in English. Juicy orange, 76%. Fresh flavor something? Sorry, I leaned into the mic there. I shouldn't have done that. Is that an admission of assault and battery?
Is that an admission of assault and battery?
Before we handle that, we should wrap up the defendant's murder charge first. The truth is that on the day of the crime, the defendant and witness had a huge fight. There is absolutely no way they would have suddenly become cordial that evening. Moreover, just consider the personality of the witness on the stand. There is no way a puppet this lewd. Lewd is not the word I would have chosen there. Crass, maybe? That's like 100% a thing. I wonder if it was Juice originally, too. That's a good question, because there are a lot of instances where, like, especially around this time period, they would have just, they would have changed that to something non-alcoholic, for example. Could have been, like, a bottle of wine or sake or something like that. The puppet this crass would just up and say good evening to his rival. Gah! Are you saying the witness is lying? That he is trying to frame the defendant by claiming to have seen him at the crime scene? I didn't tell a single lie. Honestly, I just...
That's enough from you, Mr. Quist. Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor?
Let's clarify this testimony for the court. Could you explain your theory about who the witness actually saw that evening?
He didn't see anyone. He saw the defendant. He saw a different person. That's a good question. So is he straight up lying? Was it someone else? Or he actually did see Max? Fuck you. Gotcha. I mean, just because the hat was left there, my guess would be that he saw someone in Max's clothes, but it wasn't actually Max. It is my belief that the witness did indeed see someone that night. It was just someone else. That's who he said good evening to. What kind of Siri is that? The correct one. Furthermore, I don't believe the person the witness saw was Max at all. What? If he had truly met Max that night, there would have been no greeting at all. Which means there is only one proper answer. The person the witness saw that night was not Maximilian Galactica. That is why Trillo made the effort to greet whoever it was that he saw that evening. Or good evening, as he put it. What in the world?
Would the defense kindly explain who it was Trillo saw that evening, then?
That is a good question. It could have only been the ringmaster. Considering the ill temper of the witness, there is only one person he would greet.
It must be Regina. It's Regina, right? She's so cute.
No, Your Honor, it is not Regina. If it was Regina, Trillo would have given her the engagement ring as a present.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you've got a point.
Point there. It was of Russell Berry. The victim himself, was it not? You are correct. It was indeed Russell Berry. Yep, and suddenly that actually makes sense now. He did actually see Russell going through there. The person you saw that evening was the victim, the ringmaster, Russell Berry. That's why you greeted him, Trillo. Isn't that correct? Answer the question, Mr. Quist. Wah! Ah! Oh. Wah! Ah!
Order! Order! How do you respond to this?
Well, wait a second. Well, at first I thought it was the old man. But once I got a better look at him, it was obviously Maximilian Galactica. Oh, wait a second. Wait, hang on a minute. Did Max lie to us? Did Russell actually go out in Max's clothes? Because the way Max talked about that, it sounded like Russell didn't care that he was going out without a coat. And Max explicitly asked him if he wanted to use that. That lying motherfucker. Or if this is actually the case, I guess we'll let it go, but that's where my head's at the moment.
I think it is high time that we clear the air about this question. Mr. Quist obviously witnessed a single person in the area of the plaza that evening. The problem is identifying exactly who that person was. Was it Maximilian Galactica? Or was it the ringmaster, one Mr. Russell Berry?
So prosecution argues that it was the defendant that the witness saw that night. The witness was clearly stated that he saw the defendant's 3 symbols. 3 symbols? Alright, this is getting old. Come on, man. You gotta remember them by now. Here we go again. Everyone, all together now. Ow! Yes, yes, we know. The silk hat, cloak, and white roses. A silk hat and a cloak? Anyone could wear them. They'd even look good on... they'd even look good on me. What was that? Well, the witness was endlessly repeated that he saw Max's 3 symbols. However, how do we really know that it was Maximilian Galactica? It could have been someone else dressed up as him. Possibly even Russell Berry. What?
Miss von Karma. Do you have clear evidence that the person the witness saw was the defendant?
Well,
If that's the case, then it is impossible for me to make a judgment at this point.
Yes, I think we finally won a point in this one. That is very unfortunate. Huh? You're just a little too excited for your own good, Mr. Phoenix, right? What do you mean by that? You merely established one thing from the witness. You established that this witness saw one person in the plaza that night. I applaud you on your efforts, but...
But?
Who that person was can only be answered by the next witness. Huh? Your Honor, the prosecution will provide, beyond the shadow of a doubt, an answer to that question, and evidence that clearly establishes one thing. That there is no one other than Maximilian Galactica responsible for this crime.
Very well. The court will take a 10-minute recess. During that time, I request the prosecution prepare their next witness. Court is now in recess.
Alright, so that took in about an hour and 20 with like a quick pause. So I assume this is going to be part 2 of the trial. So in a few minutes into this, I'm going to start cooking lunch, and then I'm going to have a lunch break after that. Or whenever that gets ready. That'll be about 3 o'clock my time. Probably should have started that earlier, but I had a really late breakfast. I mean, I guess I was wrestling with server issues, so like, you know, it's kind of the thing. So, sweetie, you have to believe me. I didn't go anywhere near that crime scene. So then, where were you when the murder took place? We talked about it yesterday, remember? I was in the ringmaster's room. And while you were there, it was the ringmaster who left the room, right? Exactly. He told me to wait in the room because he would be right back. That's when the ringmaster headed to the scene of the crime, right? That's what it seems like. But the ringmaster must have been wearing Max's costume, right? Yeah, this is the bit that I was like, did Max just lie to us, or did he really not realize? Oh, sweetie, I just remembered. I went straight to the ringmaster's room, still dressed in my stage clothes. But when I got there, I went ahead and took the costume off. Which means... It means that the ringmaster could have taken his costume and went out looking like Max. Fabulous. That's a fabulously possibility. Well done, Nick. However, sweetie, why would the ringmaster want to dress up like me? Isn't that a bit strange? If you think about it, all they found at the crime scene was my silk hat. Yeah, that was another thing I didn't mention, is that if he actually went out in full garb like that, what happened to the cape? Like, Max clearly doesn't have that now. So, where is it? And then I'm pretty sure that Mo testified that he saw someone in the cloak during that time. Or, sorry, he didn't testify, but he told us. So Russell walks out of the tent, walks out of the circus in the hat and the cloak. But at the crime scene, we only find the hat. What about my cloak? Where did that go? Double, Wow, Max, I never thought of that. You should be a detective or something. Oh, like, I'm almost certain that... Hang on. I'd have to look back at the VOD. You know what? I'm actually going to do that right now, because I feel like I'm forgetting. Or I feel like I'm not remembering something correctly, because... Yep. Get this out of the way. Come on. Here we go. I'm gonna mute the game just for a second so I can... Where is Ace Attorney? So we can all listen to this. It might be a bit quiet, so... With him. So, when he left, he said he'd be only 10 minutes. So, presumably Max waits there for like 10 minutes. Hang on. I can't show this right now, because I don't have the setup for it, but I want to get me talking about the dialogue. It's pretty cold outside. Where's your coat?
It's alright, I'll be right back. It should only take about 10 minutes.
Oh, I guess that's not technically... Yeah, maybe I read too much into that, but it... Because the way I interpreted that was Russell saying, I don't need one, I will be right back. But what he might have actually done is go, don't worry about it, I'll be back, and then just taken Max's stuff without him realizing. Which would be really stupid for Max not to say, because if he sees Russell leaving the room with his stuff, like... There we go! Max didn't have it anymore. But yeah. Anyway. Wow, Max, I never thought you'd be a detective or something. Well, I was never quite sure what to do when I grow up. Magician or president. You have no idea how hard it was to make a decision. That's really cool. Fabulous. This mystery just keeps getting deeper. Back at it again. Time to call Mo to the stand.
Now that everyone is back, let's get started. The court is now back in session. Ms. Von Karma, please proceed with the prosecution's case.
Very well. I will call my next witness. A pitiful clown with the unfortunate distinction of having seen the entire thing. Will Mr. Lawrence Curls please take the stand? Why did she call him a pitiful clown? The witness will state his name and occupation for the court record. I didn't get to read all of that, but it sounded like he was about to do it. In West Philadelphia, born and raised. Name and occupation.
Will the witness please inform the court why he is speaking autobiographical gibberish? I'm sorry. I'm just not used to being in court. I've never been in a courtroom in my life. I wasn't quite sure what joke is best suited to this sort of occasion. What in the world are you talking about? You're in a grand hall of justice, not some comedy club. Since it's easy to see your occupation, please state your name for the court.
Oh yeah, his quotes are great. Oh yeah, maybe this joke is okay. Mom, do I have to wear pants? The sign only says no shirt, no shoes, no service. Okay, how about this? Have you met my proctologist, Dr. Seymour Butts? How was that one? But a couple of clowns who are up to no good. Oh my god, he was actually doing a clown version of the Prince of Flair. Fuck. I think they wrote his laugh like that to sound like Shaggy. Yeah, that would make sense. Your name.
Lawrence Curls.
Oh god, there's a voice break.
Lawrence Curls, a professional funny man, also known as Mo the Clown.
You witnessed the scene of the crime at 10:15 p.m. the day of the murder, correct?
Yes. Yes, it is. Very well, Mr. Curls, will you please testify to what you saw that evening?
A rabbi, a priest, and a Rastafarian walk into this...
Without the humor, please. Okay.
Aw, poor Mo can't be his normal stoogey self in court. I mean, I'd actually prefer that, to be honest. He's, like, I gave him a dumb voice because... clown, but, like...
I know, I'm not the greatest comedian in the world. I haven't been able to make people laugh for 10 years. No matter what I say, all I get in return is a vacant stare and polite applause. Since no one ever laughs at my jokes, I've taken to laughing at them myself. That's a bad habit, but hey, at least I'm trying. Imagine my predicament. I'm a clown who can't make people laugh. Almost useless. But I keep trying. I even tried to come up with jokes just for today. But this atmosphere is very nerve-wracking, and I decided to try making everyone laugh. Seriously, everyone. What do you think of me? How am I doing?
That was testimony about nothing. Aren't we the ones supposed to be asking the questions here? Witness. Huh? You will listen to your call for help after the court proceedings are over. Thus, please stick to the facts of this case.
Really? You'll really hear me out?
Well, I'll make sure that one of my staff will be your straight man later.
Thank you, I can't wait.
Poor Gumshoe. Oh my god. Wow, Francisca. Wow. Jesus.
Now that that's settled, shall we begin once again with the testimony?
Of course we can. I'll talk as long as you want. What you witnessed. The night of the murder, after practice was over, I went straight back to my room. You have no idea how tired I was that night. I was pooped.
I thought I'd go straight to sleep, but before I did, I glanced out the window. That's when I saw two silhouettes. They were a bit far away, though. There was the ringmaster, and he was with Max, who was wearing his cloak. I kept watching them, and all of a sudden, Max clonked the ringmaster over the head. That's very interesting. This eyewitness account is to be believed. I have enough to pass judgment right now.
Of course you can. There is no way that this account can be criticized.
However, the witness is a bit... how do you say? Off-kilter?
Almost like he has some sort of
almost like he has some sort of atmosphere of guilt surrounding him. That must be because of my insincere smile. Mr. Wright, please begin the defense's cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Nick, you've got to find some kind of contradiction in his testimony.
I know that. Mr. Wright?
Your Honor?
I'm afraid that if you push this witness too far, it would bring disaster upon the court. Thus, I sincerely hope you are not going to engage in pointless saber-rattling.
I understand, Your Honor. If you cause this clown to stray from the facts, I'll hold you responsible. I'm sorry, what? Is this really implying that it is going to punish me for pressing the incorrect thing? Hold the fucking phone. Say the practice wrapped up around 10 PM, correct?
See, that's the thing.
Huh?
How exactly am I supposed to make a joke about 10 PM?
Now, 8 o'clock. That's something a clown can riff off of?
Let's just pretend it was 8 o'clock. That would...
Let's not.
I can make a great joke.
Let's not make it 8 PM, alright, Mo?
What do you mean, let's not? Don't take the clown out of the clowning around.
Come on, Nick, just listen to his joke. There are 3 reasons why I don't want to. 1, I probably won't laugh. 2, I'll get hit with a penalty. 3, I'll get whipped. Will the witness just proceed with his factual testimony? You are so boring. No idea how tired I was that night. You were pooped that night.
Yes, I was very tired. Not to mention I had some bad Mexican food.
What?
The double cheese double.
Bean enchilada is a dangerous menu item. What happened after that, as they say, happens?
That one was cool, huh? I hear the kids really love toilet humor these days.
That joke was so hip, I don't want to ruin it with a reply. Is this why people hate this case? I've heard people cursing out this clown before. Is this why? It's one of the reasons. Okay. This is bullshit. Okay, hang on. Sorry. Okay, hold on. So let me get this straight. See, this is the problem for punishing me for pressing stuff like this. I understand the idea behind it, right? Because you're trying to be like, look, don't press for unnecessary information. Except that in every other case, pressing everything has, like, legitimately clarified some things, and it's not always been clear what you should be clarifying. Because you don't know what Phoenix is going to say. Like, I've already made comments about how, like, the joke answers... Or, sorry, like, Phoenix asking really dumb questions couldn't really be, like... It's almost putting the onus on you for that when Phoenix just asks stupid stuff. Like, you could dwell on the fact that, like, Trillo keeps bringing up the 3 symbols, but every time you press that, Phoenix just goes, what were those again? And the game makes a joke out of it, despite the fact that that ends up being an important point later on. And now we're in a situation where that exact thing would get me punished. That's really fucking... Okay, you'd say that practice wrapped up then. See, that's the thing. Ha ha ha, let me tell the funny joke. Shut the fuck up. Let's not. Yeah, and then Maya is like, oh, that's so lame. And it's like, I'm gonna get literally punished for that. Like, fuck. I just saw this as a limited challenge. I don't think it's bad design since they made it clear to you beforehand. But they don't make it clear what you're going to ask. That's my problem, right? Because the idea that he was really tired that night and was pooped might actually be relevant, because if he went to sleep, for example, I could press him about that. Did you end up going to sleep right away, right? And it would move on to the next thing. That seems like a legitimate questioning, but no, you have no input on what is said by pressing this. You only have input on what you press, and this isn't enough to make that judgment. I don't think that's good design. like, in a system where this is more clear, sure. I don't think this is clear enough. Like, translation issues, transliteration issues, and that aside, this is still not clear enough. You just happen to glance out of the window? You could say that. You could also say I peeked, stared, glimpsed, peeped, eyeballed.
Mr. Curls. Oh, I guess synonyms aren't allowed either.
What should I do? I wonder if I should press him further on this issue. No, keep pressing. Exactly why did you look out of the window that night?
Why? Why? Clowns don't need a reason to look out their windows, do they?
That's not what I meant. I meant that, well, when we spoke yesterday... Once I had tucked myself into bed, I heard this amazing noise. It was incredibly loud. It sounded like a giant thump. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You forgot? Your Honor, the witness looked out his window upon hearing a loud sound. He did not just simply glance out of his window that night.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention that thump, didn't I?
Ow, ow, ow! That's not something you just forget to mention. Yeah, what she said. I believe it would be best if Mo were to revise his testimony.
Very well, Mr. Curls, please revise your testimony.
This should start turning the tables in our favor. Heard a huge noise outside the window, and that's what made me look outside. Hang on a second. I'm actually going to take 1 second to start cooking lunch, because it's been about, like, 20 minutes, and I assume this is probably going to go for an hour and a bit, so that's perfect timing. Yeah, like, so I should back up a little bit. It's not the most, it's not, like, dreadful, you know, game-breaking or anything like that. I just think it's not something that should be in this game, because, unfortunately, it's not. Like, what it should do every single time is offer you an option that when you press, right? So the first one I pressed gave me the option of, okay, sure, let's say it was 8 o'clock, instead of, like, pressing him to, like, no, it was 10, stop it. Like, you're not getting a joke in for that. And if it did more complicated things of that, where it gives you a couple of options to pick between, and if you pick the wrong one, and it goes down a line of questioning that's obviously going to go nowhere, then cool, right? But simply pressing something and not when that could mean a whole lot of different things, unspecifically, I don't think that's good. But yeah. Anyway, I will be 2 seconds, or about a minute, I suppose. Yeah, I'm gonna start cooking lunch, but I will be back in a minute. Alright. Let's continue on. Stop. Thank you. What was the sound like? Well, I guess it kind of sounded like, I guess you could say,
Mr. Curls, may the court remind you that humor is unnecessary.
oh, how'd you even know I was gonna make a joke?
I guess the sound sounded like I suppose it sounded like someone getting hit with something very hard.
Yep, that's it. It sounded like, honestly, that's what it sounded like, honestly.
Someone getting hit, huh?
Well then, you went to look out the window and you saw...
That's when I saw two silhouettes. They were a bit far away, though.
Far away, you say? If you had to say exactly, how far away were they?
Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, if my room is here, and they looked about yay big, I'd say they were about 30 feet from my window.
Just 30 feet? That's not far at all.
It was snowing that night, and it cut down on visibility. I see. Please continue with your testimony regarding the two shadows that you saw.
That's not true. Didn't Gumshoe testify that the snow had let up by then? I thought it was just cold at this point. It was a ringmaster and he was with Max, who was wearing his cloak. You'd say you clearly saw this, even though you were, by your own admission, far away.
That's right. I'd been thinking about it over and over since that night, but things didn't really make sense until I spoke with the prosecutor, Miss Von Karma.
Oh, really?
Now I'm 100% certain that it was Max and the ringmaster that I saw that night.
I was just thinking about it. How could it be wrong how could I be wrong if Max is always wearing his uppity symbols? Uppity symbols? See, this is exactly what I mean, right? The game will contrive itself to ask stupid questions, so I can't trust it. Like, even if I press it, Phoenix may just say something stupid or irrelevant, and then I get punished for it. Like, they are unironically doing this bit where I had no say in this beforehand, making it seem like Phoenix is an idiot. If I had pressed and he had immediately asked this, which I would have no way of knowing, I would get punished for this. That is the way they write these bits. Like, this directly contradicts how this section is designed, because it's admitting that it will just throw you under the bus for no reason. Like, fuck off. At least there was funny payoff for that.
See what I mean? It's always like this. Crowd never wants to go along with me. I must really be utterly and completely worthless as a clown. Yowza!
Enough foolishness. Get back on track.
Will the witness please testify as to what he saw, and only what he saw?
Kept watching them, and all of a sudden, Max clonked the ringmaster over the head. Didn't you just test... The fuck is this testimony? You say you saw the ringmaster get clonked over the head.
Yes, I did. It's the climax of my story.
He really does enjoy the completely random non sequitur. What would you say the victim was struck with?
You mean the weapon? I have no idea. The weapon wasn't found at the murder scene, right?
That's not what I meant. You did say you did see everything, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I suppose I did.
Wait, no I didn't. I didn't see a weapon. Mo. Did you or did you not see the crime of murder committed that night? I will not permit you to harass my witness in this manner. You'd better have an excellent reason for attacking this poor clown. Because if you don't, you know what is waiting for you. Ouch! A nice penalty. Isn't this a bit melodramatic? So what will it be then, Mr. Wright? Do you have any clear basis to believe that my witness did not see the crime? I mean, his own testimony seems to contradict what what. Oh, hold on a sec. Mic might help. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I heard something weird. Okay. Do you have any clear basis to believe my witness did not see the crime? I'm going to assume that just like his testimony stinks is not much of a thing, because he claims he heard something. He claims he heard something hit someone, and then what was the other thing? He claims he heard something hit someone. Then he saw Max and the ringmaster outside, at which point Max hit the ringmaster. And if he didn't see the murder weapon, then like I feel that's like enough. Fuck it. I've got a great reason to make my claim. And I suppose you would be telling us that all that great reason? Of course I will. The reason is the witness's very own testimony. Okay, good.
What is the meaning of that, Mr. Wright?
Most said that he heard a sound like a thump of something getting hit.
He did say that.
However, Mo just stated the following under oath.
Kept watching them, and all of a sudden, Max clonked the ringmaster over the head.
Mo's to be believed when he says he looked out the window upon hearing a sound. There is no way that he could have seen Max clonk anyone. Sorry about that. In 1972, a crack clown unit was sent to prison by clown court for a crime they didn't commit. Yeah, that's an A-Team reference, if I remember correctly.
Mr. Curls, how do you respond to Mr. Wright's assessment? They didn't commit. These clowns promptly escaped from a maximum security clown car. Mr. Curls, are you reciting the C-Team theme to anger this court?
The C-Team. That's good. I was going to make that joke myself, but I'm glad the game did.
No, I'm just stalling for time while I jog my memory.
Good job, Nick. Oh, great job, Nick. These types of witnesses always seem to have selective memory. You just have to peel back the layers of the clown makeup to find the truth.
Well, you're back from your jog.
Well, pretty much happened the way I said. Pretty much.
When I looked out my window that night, the ringmaster was already face down in the snow. Prosecution helped me fill in the gaps of my statement.
Von Karma. Tampering with witnesses again?
So now you are saying that you did not see the defendant clonk the ringmaster? Yes. When I looked out my window, the ringmaster had already
checked out. Checked out? Yep, he was on a permanent vacation, as they say.
Mr. Curls, Your Honor, you did not witness the actual crime. However, you still say you saw the criminal, correct? Yes, exactly. The ringmaster was slumped over and I saw someone's silhouette next to him. Very well, then please testify to this silhouette you saw. I expect the truth. And if I even catch a hint of a joke from you, I will put you in a holding cell until you learn court etiquette. Got it? Got it. It was a bit far away, but that shadow could only have belonged to Max. There's no doubting it. Especially since I saw its uppity symbols. His silk hat, that black cloak, they were all there. His face was silhouetted, but there was no doubt that it was him. His cloak was fluttering in the wind, so I couldn't really see what he was carrying. It does seem as if the defendant was at the scene of the crime. It took the clown long enough to get his facts straight. But whatever. This should finally be good enough, yes? It is decisive testimony. Was Max really at the crime scene that night? He said he wasn't there. We have to believe in that. Alright, Mr. Wright. Commence your cross-examination.
silhouette. It's a bit far away, but the shadow could only have belonged to Max. Don't you think that you were going a little overboard with how explicit you're being? That shadow belonged to Max is an awfully firm statement, don't you think? What are you getting at? I'm just saying that one of your fellow performers' life is on the line here. Are you truly 100% absolutely certain that it was Max?
I'm not the kind of person who would lie about something as serious as this. The silhouette I saw was Max. I'm convinced of that.
It doesn't seem like he is jumping to any conclusions this time. Let's go over this again then. What makes you so sure that you saw Max that night? There's no doubting it, especially since I saw his uppity symbols. Trullo said the same thing, but if it was just the symbols, even then I could have been wearing them. Well, then even I could have been wearing them. What if someone else? What if someone had just taken Max's symbols and worn them?
I thought of that myself, but just looking at the shape of the face I saw, it must have been Max. You're sure of that?
Such a silly little boy. He threw his entire case headlong into a trap.
Silk out that black cloak.
Black cloak? What? You're sure that is what you saw that night?
Exactly what I said. Exactly what I said I saw is exactly what I saw. I've got eyes like a hawk.
Don't birds have terrible night vision?
But that's not all I saw. His face was silhouetted, but there was no doubt that it was him.
You were able to see that kind of detail from your window? There was a light near the scene of the crime. Anyone with decent eyesight should have been able to see that. Out of curiosity, Mo, what is your eyesight like? I could see like a hawk out of my left eye and an eagle out of my right eye. Records say his eyesight is a perfect 20/20. That must mean he could have seen the crimes. That must mean he could have seen the crime scene clearly.
The more we look into this matter, the more suspicious it becomes. Hey, you asked me what my eyesight was like, not what it actually was.
His cloak was fluttering in the wind, so I couldn't really see what he was carrying. So you didn't actually see what the criminal was holding?
That's correct. I'd been curious to know what caused that loud noise. Must have been something incredibly hard.
Not too bad they haven't found the murder weapon to know for sure. They claim it was a blunt object. At least it says says so in the autopsy report. With Trillo's testimony and now Mo's, it really seems like Max is the killer. Nick, you've got to find a contradiction in this. That's not going to be enough. What? I have to prove that Mo saw someone other than Max that night. That's the only thing that will help. I've got to do it. I've got to do it. Ugh. Words. Okay, well... This is straight up wrong. You say you saw all of Max's uppity symbols. I suppose so. The silk hat and the cloak, right? Mo. Everyone knows that Maximilian Galactic has 3 uppity symbols.
3 symbols?
Yay, everyone get ready. All together, now. Silk hat, cloak, white roses.
What the?
Who cares if he knew that there were 3 or not? He saw what he saw, and he saw the symbols. He just forgot to mention one. Isn't that right, Mo? Do you like pie? I love pie. 3.15. He literally recited, like, I think that was like 30 digits of pi. You have to respond with the whole truth, no fractions.
Order.
Mo, you didn't see the roses, did you?
To be honest, there weren't any roses on the person I saw.
The crime scene was dark. It's obvious it was too dark to see that kind of detail. You literally just backed up a statement before by saying that someone could see someone's face with a light. Get out of here, Francisco. But the witness said he was able to see the silhouette of the criminal's face. Not to mention that the roses are white. There's no way he could have missed them. Zen's roses must have fallen off the defendant when the defendant assaulted the victim. If that was the case, then the police could have found them near the crime scene.
Mr. Wright, are these white roses truly material to the facts of this case?
Clearly not. He is just toying with this court. I got her on the ropes now. These seemingly insignificant facts have never failed to lead me to the truth yet. Someone is toying with the court, but it's not me. Your Honor, do you recall Trillo's testimony? There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols. How can you mistake someone with crazy getup and his nose stuck up so high? How could you mistake someone wearing such a snobby 3-piece getup? Trillo saw them all. Trillo saw all 3 of Max's symbols. However, this witness claims there are no white roses on the person he saw. There is absolutely no doubt that this is a contradiction.
Now what am I supposed to think? One is supposed to disregard the pointless, but this...
Judge, forget the roses. Think about his other testimony. The witness has stated without a doubt that he saw Maximum Galactica. Nothing else matters. Let's wrap this case up now. Your Honor, it may be trivial, but it does cast doubt on the prosecution's case.
Frankly, I have my doubts about this witness. It seems that, unlike wine, the witness has not grown more mature with age. I'm not mature. I've come to a conclusion. I'm 99% certain that this witness saw the defendant. However, my remaining 1% of doubt is quite reasonable. Which means that for my peace of mind, I'm going to request a bit more testimony.
What?
If there are no contradictions in his next statement, I am prepared to issue a ruling.
A ruling? Nick, this is your last chance. The Silhouette Part 2. Oh boy. There's no doubt in my mind. There were no white roses that night. However, all of the other symbols were there. I'm equally sure of that. Especially the silk hat. There is no way I could forget seeing the decorations on it. He was wearing it the entire time that he was on the scene.
Mr. Wright, you've got one last chance at this.
Just one chance?
I will not allow even the slightest hint of badgering against this witness. If you are going to prove to me there's a contradiction with Mr. Curl's statement, you'd better have at least a shred of evidence to back up your accusations.
I've only got a single shot at this. I've got to be careful. I understand, Your Honor. One chance is all I will need. Okay. I know what we're going for here. Mo, be honest. Ow! You promised, Mr. Phoenix, right? No more badgering. What? I need to see what the solution to this is, so I'm not going to get mad yet. Okay, so maybe it wasn't what I was thinking. Never mind then. There's no doubt in my mind there were no white roses that night. However, all of the other symbols were there. I'm equally sure of that. Especially the silk hat. There is no way I could forget seeing the decorations on it. He was wearing it the entire time that he was on the scene. But he left it at the scene. That's not possible. This wouldn't happen to be the silk hat you saw that night, would it? Yep, that's it. That's the hat he was wearing that night. No question in your mind. Exactly how would one mistake a thing like that? I see.
Is there some sort of problem, Mr. Wright?
Miss Von Karma, where exactly was the silk hat found? Must you always ask these questions? It was found at the crime scene. The crime scene? So that means... The silk hat fell off at the crime scene. However, the witness clearly testified to the contrary. The witness stated that he was wearing it the entire time that he was on the scene. No, that's not true!
Order, order, order! Mr. Curls. Yes, Your Honor. What is the meaning of all of this? You are old enough to know better than to behave like this in court. Hey, that's just not right. That's so harsh.
God, their two voices are blending together, I'm sorry.
What's not right here is your eyesight and your memory, amongst other things.
Why are you being so mean to me? What did I do? Let me guess, you just didn't like my jokes or something, right? You didn't have to go and... he's going all over the place. Seriously, why? Just because you were sitting above...
Enough of these childish outbursts, Mr. Curls. Who do you think you are?
I saw him. I swear I saw him. It was Max.
Even if he didn't have his roses, he was still wearing this dumb silk hat. I'm telling the truth.
He's turned into a bratty little kid. That's pitiful, isn't it? He left the scene wearing that dumb silk hat. He was there. He left the scene. What's the matter, Nick? There's something I've been mulling over for a while now. Mo, what do you want? You just said that he left the scene. Exactly how did the murderer leave the scene of the crime?
What?
He went. What do you mean, how did he leave the scene? You can't ask me that. Mr. Phoenix Wright is badgering the witness, Your Honor. This witness's testimony is so full of holes, Miss Von Karma's protest is useless.
You've got a point. Let's hear what the witness has to say on this matter. Is that alright with you, little guy? Don't talk to me like I'm a little baby. Besides, what kind of stupid question is how did he leave the crime scene?
The answer's obvious. He just turned around and walked away. That's what I expected you to say. You sure that's how it happened?
Say what? Huh? I'm not sure I know exactly where you're going with this. Lawyers nowadays sure do love to harp on the smallest things. Do you have any proof to counter his story as to how the criminal left the scene?
I sure as fuck do. Look at this picture. The problem is the footprints in the snow.
Footprints?
In this photo, we can clearly see the footprints of the victim. However, where are the criminal's footprints? They aren't there.
Ay, 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 ay.
So, Mo, how exactly did the criminal escape the scene? Your Honor, this witness has already proven that his testimony is completely unreliable. I move to strike all of this witness's testimony from the court record.
I agree. This clown's testimony is as rickety as the clown car he came to court in.
Oh, wait just a second. You guys can't just ignore everything I've said. Fine, fine, I'll tell you the truth this time. Jesus. You wait a second. I think you've said more than enough for today. That didn't hurt. I'm sick and tired of listening to you anyways. I'll give you the real deal this time, I swear. I don't know why, but I get the feeling things are going to get worse before they get better.
Mr. Lawrence Curls.
Yes?
The testimony you provided up until now has been false.
It hasn't been false. I haven't lied. It's just...
It's just what?
It's just I was a bit confused on the bit about the criminal leaving the scene.
Especially since Von Karma and her whip told me not to talk about what I really saw. I will have order. Franziska Von Karma, how could you?
Your Honor, if you had heard the truth from this witness, you would have exactly the same opinion as I have.
What opinion is that?
It's not funny.
That's enough out of you. I'm going to listen to what he has to say. Now then, let's hear the truth about what you say you saw, Mr. Curls. You're not going to believe this, but it's all true, I tell you.
Try not to waste our time with your idiotic drivel.
God. Everything I've said up until now has been the truth. When I looked out the window, the ringmaster was down and Max was standing above him. He wasn't wearing his white roses, but he was wearing the silk hat. And that's when I saw he
returned to his home planet.
This is the truth now. Get ready for it. He flew. He jumped up and flew through the air. He flew right off and disappeared into the darkness.
That's why there are no footprints. Flying people don't leave footprints. I told you it wasn't funny. Do you believe me now?
Well, that was... how do you put this into words?
Maximilian Galactica is a world-class magician, but to leave the scene of a crime by flying, there's no way that actually happened.
You're right.
Why is she right? You believe the other witnesses? Why wouldn't you believe me, especially since it's the best part of the story?
To be honest, this is the first time I've heard of a flying criminal. What do you think about this witness's testimony, Mr. Wright?
That's a good question. This is all a dream. I do like the joke answers, like, they're kind of funny. I should actually go through them a bit more than I actually do, but, I mean, that's the joke. Like, this is so ridiculous. I don't think it needs to be really... I don't think I need to dwell on it. So, there are two possibilities in my mind. One of them is that no one was actually there, but, like, he was, like, someone was floating his clothes around or something like that, right? The other option is that he was actually... The other option is that he did actually see someone fly away like that, who could have also been suspended. But, I feel like the thing to do here is say he's telling the truth. What he just said was so strange, I don't think he would have made it up.
Which means that he is telling the truth?
That's what I think. Nick, wait. That means that Max actually used magic. Yikes, you're right. Ow! Only a foolish-looking fool could be fooled by such a foolish dream. Don't be ridiculous. Magic does not exist. Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was, like, a wrong answer or something like that, but...
I suppose I will let you all in on my thinking regarding this matter. The criminal disappeared into the sky. I'd love to believe that, but I just can't wrap my head around how that could actually happen.
You imbecile.
If you disregard a need for proof, Miss Von Karma's case is sound. However, I've got the feeling that this case is in dire need of more investigation. Thus, I will conclude today's proceedings at this point. It's an undisputed fact that the criminal left no footprints at the scene. Tomorrow, I want us to find out the reason behind this mystery of mysteries. I believe that's enough for today. Court is adjourned.
Oof. Hey, sweeties. What in the world is going on? That's what I want to know. They say the criminal flew off into the air and disappeared. Max, I can't believe I'm asking this, but you didn't fly that night, did you? I know you don't mean to ask me such a fabulously stupid question. I can't fly wherever I please, it's not that easy. But it looks so effortless for you on stage. It's not that simple. Oh, sorry, I've got to bring back Lotta's accent. It's not that simple. Oh, it's not that simple. I'm not actually flying on stage. I use invisible wires and have them hoist me through the air. Wow, you just told me the secret to your magic. No, Oh. Yep. Sorry about that. Kind of realized we'd run out of toilet paper and stage 4 lockdown is coming soon, so... yeah. And I fucked up and forgot to do that when I was at the shops yesterday, so... that's good. But that means I'm probably going to wrap it up here, because I'll... probably want to head down there anyway to see if I can get anything last minute. So we're going to quickly... I'm going to dispense the voices and that, because I need to kind of wrap up quick, but... no, I broke the first cardinal rule, the only rule. I'm sorry, Max. We made you break a magician's creed and never reveal a secret to their tricks. Nick, what do we do now? All we can do now is hope we find the flying criminal in court tomorrow. Great idea. Let's do our best and catch this sucker. Yeah, and it's to be continued anyway, so... that's good timing. Because I'm also going to have lunch now, and I'm probably not going to stream too much longer after that, so... yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be it for me today. I'm going to be doing more of this next weekend, obviously. I'm hoping this week that I get back into Bubba As You, or streaming something. The other thing I was thinking of streaming, just for shits and giggles, was 5D chess. I'm awful at chess already, but I think like doing that on stream would be fun to watch, me try and grasp it. Um, so yeah, something, I want to stream something during this week. I'm also taking time off around next weekend, so I might have a little bit more time to actually do it, and having not worked, it might free me up a little bit to do that. But yeah, still no promises. I also bumped up the schedule a little bit to start a little bit later than I had been. I was cutting it short every time I was getting towards like 11:30 for me for these streams. 12 o'clock is just going to ensure that I can actually definitely do them. So, yeah. Yeah. But I think that's a good place to leave it. We managed to prove that there is far too much unknown about this case. Which, I mean, yeah, is kind of where the other cases went, but it's kind of where the other cases went, but I guess like that was an obvious point I feel like was going to get explained in this, and it didn't. So pointing that out is kind of like, well, we don't know what the fuck happened. We still kind of need to talk about this. So yeah. All right. So thank you for watching. If you're watching live or on the VODs, I hope you all have a lovely day, and I shall see you all next time.